You know, a lot of times things can get a little bit blown out of proportion when it comes to video game news and when it comes to especially Xbox. So I have to say, when I read this at first, you see the headline and you go, that is crazy. Maybe that's not such good news. But if I've learned anything over the past 6 months to a year, it's that never take anything for face value in the industry. Things are constantly changing, things are constantly in flux. What might look like a bad thing could actually be a very good thing, and I'll elaborate a little bit more on that in a minute. But first, I just want to say, one of the things that I find very interesting about what Microsoft has done is they've stuck with a lot of their teams that have worked on games in the past, and they've given them a bigger reign, so to speak. If you're a baseball fan, maybe equate it to a manager giving a longer leash to a starting pitcher. Instead of pulling them at the first sign of trouble, you let them try and get out of it on their own and see what happens, and this can lead to some pretty good things. A good example of what has happened in the past is, look at Halo Infinite. They did change some things around, but they still overall trusted the team to deliver a quality title, and that's exactly what happened. And we'll probably continue to see that happening in the future. Microsoft seems to have a very big idea of what they want to accomplish in the future, and it does seem like that's going to be exactly what they do. But this is going to be a very interesting video, I'm sure of it, and there's going to be some give and take, I'm sure. Hey there everyone, I'm the Crapgamer, and this of course is Crapgamer Reviews, your home for gaming news, opinions, reviews, and much more. You'll probably notice a few cool changes around here, but hopefully that doesn't stop you from leaving us a like, and possibly even consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. Thank you so much for choosing to spend some of your free time with me today. It really does mean a lot. So, obviously Halo Infinite was a game that had its ups and downs. Overall, I enjoyed the game. I think that it has a fun multiplayer element, and I think that they did finally what they wanted to always do with the campaign in a Halo game. With that being said, of course it wasn't without its flaws and it wasn't without its problems. Now, I kind of predicted that once Halo Infinite did launch, regardless of how well it did in reviews and things like that, that we'd probably see numerous people leave the actual company, right? 343 Industries. But I've kind of figured maybe like Bonnie Ross would leave and some others. I obviously, whenever a game ships, there's always going to be a group of people that leave. I'm sure they've had dozens and dozens of people leave since the game is shipped. And now we have another person that leaves, and it sounds bad on the outside when you read this, right? So, according to GameSpot, Halo Infinite lead narrative designer leaves 343 and joins Riot Games. Aaron Linde is leaving Microsoft Studio following Infinite's launch in December. Halo Infinite's lead narrative designer, Aaron Linde, has announced he has left 343 Industries. Linde announced that on Twitter that he is leaving to quote-unquote pursue a new opportunity, one that we know is a job at League of Legends developer Riot Games. Linde is joining the R&D team at Riot. Linde said it was a terrifically difficult decision to leave 343 Industries, as Halo Infinite will remain one of the proudest achievements of his career for the rest of his life. He's so grateful to have been a part of it. What he said was, bittersweet news to report. I'm departing 343 Industries to pursue a new opportunity in 2022. It was a terrifically difficult decision. Halo Infinite will remain one of my proudest achievements of my career and for the rest of my life, and I'm so grateful to have been a part of it. He went on to say that he wants to thank his dear colleagues at 343 for making the best game he's ever worked on, our incredible voice cast for elevating our work in every single line delivery, and our players for joining us on this wild journey. You made 2021 an incredibly special year, and I get squiggly talking about real stuff on this stupid website, Twitter, so I'll leave it at that for now. But I can't underscore enough how grateful I am, and always will be. See you next mission. So yeah, very interesting to see that. As lead narrative designer, it sounds like, oh, narrative designer, what's he do, right? He was in charge of a small team of writers handling all the open world narrative content in the game, according to his LinkedIn page. This amounted to more than 15,000 lines of enemy and marine chatter, more than 100 audio logs and ambient dialogue. And okay, so I will point out that one of the cool things about Halo Infinite is especially the grunts dialogue, and I think that some of that's been hilarious, and a lot of them are quite good, and some of the audio logs and things like that. So I think he probably did a very good job, a strong job at being able to do his job there. And so I do think that it is a bit of a blow, but that stuff is already out now, right? To say that, oh, well, this is going to be bad for Halo or whatever. I don't really know if I buy into that. I think that, obviously we're going to see a continuing game from Halo Infinite. It's an Infinite game, allegedly. So that's one of the things that I think that a lot of us have to kind of keep in mind as well as we go forward. I have to be able to say, you know what? Listen, they've probably already had dozens of people leave their various jobs there, right? The game shipped. That's all there is to it. Look into the history of any game that ships, for any big AAA game that ships, and what happens right afterwards is a lot of people end up leaving that job because it's completed. Now he's leaving specifically to go to another job, which happens all the time too. Like and listen, even when I was quote unquote a PlayStation fanboy, and people were on the Xbox side were hyping up, a lot of these departures that were happening at like Naughty Dog and stuff like that. That stuff just happens. Like I kept trying to tell people, right? Like this stuff happens. You have these people that are going to continue to go out there and work and change jobs in the industry because they're going to go into the next big thing. If they feel a little bit one way at one place, they'll maybe go to a different place. If they feel stagnated there, they'll go to a different place. It doesn't mean it's the end of the studio. People really tried to think it was the end of Naughty Dog because they lost some people and because they had to work some overtime, right? Like it never made sense to me to say stuff like that, or to go, oh man, well, it's the end of Naughty Dog now. Like that was never going to be a thing, to be honest with you. Like Naughty Dog, its leadership, there's a lot more that goes into it than a handful of people or whatever, even 20 people or even 50 people at one of these big, huge studios. So, there was a lot of people reading into this. Not only that, but it's like they read into it. They make fun of the Halo story or whatever, and they say it's trash, and then they trash the guy who helped write probably one of the best parts, which was a lot of the audio logs and a lot of the chatter and vocal stuff from the background. So, to me, that never made a whole lot of sense, but I do understand why people would think that. And again, I do think that we'll probably see even more people leaving at one point or another, So, yeah, again, is this the end of Halo or the end of Xbox? Of course not. Is this something that just happens all the time? Yes. That's just basically what happens, folks. I mean, honestly, that's just how it goes. And, people will always want to look for the most negative thing. And I used to do that, right? But I just want to say, there's a better way. And, and you don't have to pander to anybody to do that, right? Like, I'll be honest about Xbox and PlayStation, but this is in no way, shape, or form bad or terrible for Halo or anything like that. So, yeah, I think that everybody should just be well aware of that. With that being said, I will link this article, and I am very curious to hear what everyone has to say. I love hearing the feedback and stuff like that. It means a lot to me. And if you guys do enjoy the content that I put out daily, go ahead and give us a like and share it out. Maybe even consider subscribing. You guys keep me going. I hope that everything goes great for you guys this year. It's going to be your year. Don't let anybody tell you differently. You got to grab it. Don't sit back and wait for things to happen. Make them happen, and go in with a positive attitude. That's my best advice that I can give each and every one of you. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, Crap Gamer 'em up. Thanks for watching. Crap Gamer out.